Hello everyone, I'm Zioxin from Susan's family. Today, I will teach you a design from the Botanical Sensation series, the SunBask Basket Bag, Daisy Edition. This bag consists of 3 parts, the bag body, accessories, and decorations. The bag body includes the leather bottom. Section 1 and Section 2. The accessories include the drawstring, the small ball, D-ring, leather label, and strap. The decorations include daisies and leaves. First, we will make the bag body. Then, we attach the accessories. Finally, we make and sew on the decorations. Let's start by learning the crochet method for section 1 of the bag body. Now, let's take a look at the finished product. Section 1 of the bag body starts by joining the yarn on the bag bottom. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The stitches used include chain stitch, single crochet, slip stitch, front post double crochet, and back post double crochet. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. To make it easier for everyone to see more clearly, I will demonstrate using cotton yarn. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Actually, the section 1 of the bag body is crocheted using 2 single strands of yarn, combined into one group. In the upcoming explanation of section 1 of the bag body, when I say 1 strand of yarn, it actually corresponds to 1 group of yarn. This will not be repeated in the following instructions. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail like this. The short end of the tail can adjust the size of the loop. Use your right hand to pinch the slip knot. Wrap the tail around your left little finger once. Pass it through between your middle finger and index finger. Then, use your thumb and middle finger to hold the loop. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Attach the yarn and crochet the first round on the bag bottom. Place the side of the bag bottom with the foot studs facing you. This side is the right side of the bag bottom. Insert the hook into any space. Draw the loop of the slip knot over. Adjust the size, making the loop level with the edge of the bag bottom. There should be no extra loops on the wrong side. The joining is now complete. Work 1 chain. This will count as the turning chain for the single crochet. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pull through the loop. 1 chain stitch is done. The turning chain doesn't count as 1 stitch. Next, work a single crochet in the space below. Insert the hook into the hole. With the yarn tail from joining, place it over the hook and weave in. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Pull until it's level with the bag's bottom edge. There are 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again. And draw through all loops on the hook. 1 single crochet is completed. At the top right of the single crochet, there's a V shape formed by 2 strands of yarn. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Continue working another single crochet in the same chain space. Insert your hook into the chain space. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Pull it until it's level with the edge. Yarn over again, and draw through both loops on your hook. The second single crochet is completed. Work 1 more single crochet in this chain space. Then in the adjacent chain space on the left side, work 3 single crochets. Work 3 single crochets in each space around, following the pattern. To complete this round, after finishing, work a slip stitch into the first single crochet, that is, the braid on the left side. Insert your hook into the stitch. Yarn over, and draw the yarn through. Draw through all the loops on your hook. Slip stitch is complete. This braid is formed by the slip stitch. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. You need to tighten it to avoid crocheting extra stitches later. The first round is complete. Move on to the second round. Start with 1 chain. Then work a back post double crochet in the single crochet below. We will simply call it a back post stitch from now on. Yarn over. Insert the hook from back to front through the stitch. And then come out through the next stitch. Yarn over again, draw the yarn through. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Now you should have 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over again, pull through these 2 loops. That completes 1 back post stitch. This stitch is perfectly above the first single crochet of the previous round. There's a V shape formed by 2 yarns at the top, right? That's the stitch. Work another back post double crochet. Yarn over. Bring the hook from back to front. Insert it into the adjacent single crochet stitch on the left side, which is where the hook just exited. Then pull out through that adjacent stitch. Yarn over again, draw the yarn through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, pull the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook in sequence. Repeat this process twice. 1, 2. The second back post double crochet is done. Now work a front post double crochet, which we'll call front post stitch for short moving forward. Yarn over, insert the hook from front to back under the adjacent stitch on the left side. Then pull out through that adjacent stitch. Yarn over again, draw the yarn through. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops on the hook in sequence. Repeat this twice. This front post double crochet is now complete. You can see that the technique for the front post double crochet is identical to the back post double crochet, except for the direction of inserting the hook. Now work another front post double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook from front to back under the adjacent stitch on the left. Then come out through that adjacent stitch. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. Finish this stitch. Another front post double crochet is now complete. Continue and work 2 more back post double crochets evenly. Then work 2 more front post double crochets. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. Treat these 2 back post double crochets and 2 front post double crochets as one group of stitches. For this round, alternate crocheting this group of stitches. Continue all the way down following this pattern to complete the round. When finished, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Locate the first back post double crochet on the stitch above it to the right. Work one slip stitch. Insert the hook, yarn over and draw through. Pull through all loops on the hook. Slip stitch is complete. Pull tight. The second round is now finished. You can see that the right side of the piece has clear texture, while the wrong side has a blurry texture. When crocheting the bag body later, the right side should always face you. Now move on to the third round. Start with one chain as your beginning chain. Work one front post double crochet into the back post double crochet below, yarn over, and insert the hook from front to back into the right side of this back post double crochet. Pay attention, you're not inserting into the stitch itself, but coming out on the left side. Finish this stitch. Complete this front post double crochet. Then, on the adjacent back post double crochet to the left, work one front post double crochet. Next, on the adjacent front post double crochet to the left, work one back post double crochet, yarn over, and insert the hook from back to front into the right side of this stitch. Exit on the left side. Finish this stitch. When working front post stitches on top of back post double crochets, or working back post stitches on top of front post double crochets, you will always pick up this entire stitch to work around, not insert into the stitch itself. I won't repeat this explanation. Continue with one back post double crochet. Then two front post double crochets. And two more back post double crochets. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. On the back post double crochet from the row above, correspondingly make a front post double crochet. On the front post double crochet, correspondingly hook a back post double crochet. Repeat this group of patterns. Continue downward following this pattern. Complete this round. After finishing, slip stitch join into the first stitch. Tighten. The third round is complete. The crocheting method for the fourth round is identical to the third round. Make one chain as your beginning chain. Crochet two back post double crochets. Then crochet two front post double crochets. Continue downward according to the rule of hooking back post double crochet on the front post double crochet. On the back post double crochet, correspondingly hook a front post double crochet. Finish this round. After completing, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten. The 4th round is completed. For the next 5th round, you need to increase stitches. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. First, crochet 2 front post double crochets. Then, on the adjacent front post double crochet on the left side, crochet 2 back post double crochets. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. This way, you've added 1 stitch. Again, on the adjacent front post double crochet on the left side, crochet 1 back post double crochet. In this group of patterns, 3 back post stitches are crocheted out. Continue following the pattern of crocheting front post double crochets into the back post double crochets from the previous round, and crocheting back post double crochets into the front post double crochets. Crochet until you finish 5 groups of the pattern. After completing them, increase stitches in the next group of the pattern. First, crochet 2 front post double crochets. Then, on the adjacent front post double crochet on the left side, crochet 2 back post double crochets. Next, on the following front post double crochet, crochet 1 back post double crochet. This group of the pattern will have 1 more stitch added. Continue following the pattern to crochet 5 groups of the pattern. Take a look at the fabric piece. Every interval of 5 groups of the pattern. Add 1 back post double crochet in the 6th group of the pattern. Continue downward following this pattern, and finish crocheting this round. After completing it, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten. The 5th round is now complete. A total of 4 back post double crochets were added in this round. Continue to the 6th round. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Crochet according to the pattern of making back post double crochets on front post double crochets. And front post double crochets on back post double crochets. Pay attention to the increase placement and correspondingly crochet 3 front post double crochets. After completing it, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten. The 6th round is now complete. Let me teach you all a way to count the rounds. You can see that The texture of the front post double crochet protrudes like this, while the texture of the back post double crochet indents like this. Start from the second round with this front post double crochet, and alternately count these textures of the front post double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we have crocheted 6 rounds. For the crocheting method of section 1 in the bag body, it is relatively simple. Crochet a back post stitch above the front post stitch correspondingly, and crochet a front post stitch above the back post stitch correspondingly. Every 3 rows, add stitches once on the 4th row. The method for adding stitches is to skip every 5 pattern repeats. Add 1 back post stitch on the 6th pattern group. Each time you increase, stagger the increase placement from the previous one. Moving forward, you can continue by yourself until reaching the last 2 rounds of the bag body. For the exact number of rounds, please refer to the chart. While crocheting, you can compare your progress with the reference height of the finished product. If you haven't completed all the required rounds, but have already reached the reference height, you can also skip completing all the rounds. Just crochet the last 2 rounds directly. It doesn't matter if you miss adding a stitch once. Moving forward, everyone can follow this method and finish crocheting them. During the crocheting process, if you encounter the situation where a ball of yarn runs out, simply pick up the new yarn. Leave about 10 centimeters for both yarn tails. Hold them together and tie a knot. Then continue crocheting as usual. Make sure the knot doesn't show on the right side of the fabric. Later, you can hide the yarn tails along the texture of the fabric. Keep them hidden on the wrong side. I'll demonstrate using this sample swatch. The crocheting method for the second to last round. This sample has fewer rounds and stitches. It's just to demonstrate the technique. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet stitch. Correspond to the first stitch below. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. There are 2 strands in each stitch. The strand closer to you is called the front loop. The other strand is called the back loop. Pick the front loop of the adjacent stitch on the left. Work 1 double crochet. Match 1 stitch to another below. Pick the front loop of the adjacent stitch. Crochet double crochets to complete this round. After completion, pick up the 3rd chain of the beginning chain. This will join the 2 strands with a slip stitch. The second to last round is complete. Now move on to the final round. You can see below the double crochets of the previous round. There are small line segments formed by the remaining back loops in one round. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work it on the starting chain below. At the same time, pick the insertion point of the slip stitch. And the back loop of the corresponding stitch below. That is, this small segment. Make 1 single crochet. Then, at the same time, pick the left stitch. and the small segment below. Make 1 single crochet, the double crochets from the previous round create this texture, which stands out prominently. Match one stitch to another below. At the same time, pick up the adjacent stitch on the left and remaining small segment below to work a single crochet. Work the entire round. After completing it, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. Next, cut the yarn. Secure with 1 chain stitch. Leave a tail about 5 centimeters long and cut. For the remaining yarn tails, reserve them as they will be used later for sewing on the D-ring and leather label. Weave in the ends along the texture on the wrong side of the fabric. You can weave in a few more stitches if you'd like. Then trim off any excess yarn. That completes section 1 of the bag body. Next, we'll work on section 2 of the bag body. Let's take a look at the finished product. Use the corresponding yarn. Join the yarn onto section 1 of the bag body. We will be crocheting in rounds. Please watch as I demonstrate the exact crochet method. First, let's join the yarn. Take out the corresponding yarn. I'll continue demonstrating with the thick yarn here. The color scheme is random. For specifics, please refer to the detail page or the paper instructions. Make a loose knot with the yarn tail. Locate the first stitch of the last round from section 1. Insert the hook into this stitch. Pull the yarn through the slip knot. Adjust the size of the loop a bit. Pay attention to the knotted loop. Make sure it doesn't show on the right side of the fabric. Joining the yarn is now complete. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This should correspond to the stitch where you joined the yarn below. Crochet 1 more chain stitch for transition. Skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet into the second stitch. Chain 1 as a bridge. Skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Continue below, skipping 1 stitch each time. And work 1 double crochet. Between each double crochet, chain 1 to connect following this pattern. Repeat until you reach the last 3 stitches. You've now reached this position. Chain 1 more for transition. Skip 1 stitch and work 1 double crochet. Then, on the top chain from the turning chains, pick up these 2 strands and work 1 single crochet. The first round is now completed. Move on to the second round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Chain 1 more for transition. Skip the turning chain below. Work 1 double crochet in the left chain space. Chain 1 for transition. Work 1 double crochet in the next chain space. Continue working double crochets correspondingly into the chain spaces below. Between each double crochet, work 1 chain stitch to connect following this pattern. Repeat until you reach the last chain space. You've now reached this position. Work 1 chain stitch for transition. In the final chain space, work 1 double crochet. Then work 1 single crochet into the beginning chain. The second round is complete. For the crocheting method of section 2, moving forward, it is identical to round 2. Work double crochets into the chain spaces from the previous round. Work 1 chain stitch between each double crochet to connect. Finally, work 1 single crochet into the beginning chain to finish. Moving forward, follow this pattern on your own. Refer to the chart for the corresponding number of rounds. In the last chain space, work 1 double crochet, then work 1 chain stitch for transition. Join with a slip stitch into the beginning chain. Tighten. Fasten off normally. Weave in the ends on the wrong side of the piece. Section 2 is now complete. Next, make the accessories. Let's start with the drawstring. There are 2 drawstrings. Each one is crocheted separately. Take the appropriate yarn. I will continue to demonstrate with the chunky yarn. The color scheme is random. Let's take a look. From the center and the outside of the yarn ball, there are 2 different yarn tails. Here, we take these 2 ends together for crocheting. Take any one of the ends and make a slip knot. Hold the yarn with the left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Insert into the slip knot. Adjust slightly. Pass the other tail upwards. And place it on the hook. Note: don't pull this tail too tight. Yarn over and draw through both loops once. Continue by placing the thread on the hook again. Yarn over and pull through both loops. Then continue crocheting using the same method. Keep going until you reach the desired length. Once completed, leave both tails at 5 cm and cut them off. Simply pull the yarn through and tighten. The beginning and ending tails can be dealt with later. 1 drawstring is now crocheted. Crochet the second drawstring in the same way. The technique is fairly simple. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, attach the drawstring to the corresponding position in section 2 of the bag body. Take out the bag body. Locate the ending position of crocheting in section 2. Count down 3 chain spaces from this position. Find the chain space in the 4th round from the end. Insert the drawstring through the corresponding hole. Exit through the adjacent hole on the left side. Insert into the next chain space. Continue in this way, and thread through all the chain spaces one by one. Finally, exit through an adjacent chain space. That completes the installation of one drawstring. Next, attach the second drawstring. Locate where the previous drawstring was inserted and exited. Find a symmetrical position in the same round. You can check to ensure that the number of chain spaces between the two sides is identical. Insert the second drawstring. Into this hole. Work around the circle in the same way. Pay attention to the spaces where you insert and exit, making sure they are staggered by one space from the previous drawstring. This creates an alternating effect. Now both drawstrings are installed. Next, crochet the small ball. Use the magic ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. After completion, attach it to the end of the drawstring. The new stitches used are SC2-in-1 and SC2 tog. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Let's start with casting on. Take the corresponding contrasting color yarn and appropriate hook size. I will continue to demonstrate with cotton yarn. For more details, please refer to the product page or paper instructions. Pick up the yarn tail with your right hand. Wrap twice around your left index finger. There are now a total of 3 strands on the index finger. Use your right thumb and index finger to pinch where the loops overlap. Take it out. Then hang the yarn tail on the left hand. Transfer the loop to between the left hand's thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Insert into the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise around the hook. Draw the yarn through. There is now 1 loop on the hook. Continue with 1 chain stitch to secure. Everyone, take a look. This is what it looks like when the adjustable magic ring is done. Move on to the first round. Start with a chain 1. Crochet 6 single crochets into the large space of the magic ring. Then close the magic ring. There are 2 loops in total. Gently pull the starting tail first. One of the loops will become loose. Tighten the loose loop. One loop remains. Pull the yarn tail directly to tighten. Now the ring is closed. Join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. That is, the second chain from the left side of the yarn tail. Pull tight. The first round is now complete. Move on to the second round. Chain 1 to begin. Work a SC2 in 1 into the next stitch. That is, work 2 single crochets into this stitch. As you go, gently pull the starting tail to tighten the ring. 1 stitch. 2 stitches. That completes one SC2 in 1. For this SC2 in 1 and all following SC2 in 1, you will work 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. Then, in the next stitch on the left, work another SC2 in 1. Insert your hook into the stitch and draw up 2 single crochets. The second SC2 in 1 is now completed. The pattern for this round of crochet is 2. Crochet SC2 in 1 into the corresponding stitches from the previous round. To finish this round, after completing the last SC2 in 1, you can check the stitch count. Each stitch represents 1 stitch. Start counting from the last stitch. 1, 2, 3. There are a total of 12 stitches in this round. Then join with a slip stitch on the first stitch. Pull tight. You can see that the texture on the right side is clearer, while the wrong side is more blurred. When crocheting, keep the right side facing you. The second round is now completed. The yarn tail of the starting chain has already been woven around once. You can cut it directly. Then move on to the third round. Chain 1 as your beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet into the next stitch below. Then on the left stitch, make 1 SC2 in 1. After completing it, pick up each stitch and work 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 in 1. Now let's take a look at the pattern for this round of crochet. 1 single crochet, 1 SC2 in 1. Repeat the pattern. This method is called skip 1, increase 1. Next, we will follow this crocheting pattern to complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch on the first stitch. Tighten. The third round is now completed. Move on to the fourth round. Start with 1 chain as the beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in each stitch. After completing, join with a slip stitch on the first stitch. Tighten. The fourth round is now completed. Crochet evenly will cause the fabric to naturally curl. Adjust the fabric so that the right side faces out. Now, I'll teach you the method for counting rounds when crocheting a small ball. On the front side of the fabric piece, there will be raised textures in circles. Starting from the beginning round where you cast on, count how many of these raised texture circles there are. That indicates how many rounds have been completed. You can see that there are now 4 circles of texture. This means you have crocheted 4 rounds. The crocheting method for rounds 5 to 6 is identical to round 4. All the way down, one stitch corresponds to one single crochet. The method is relatively simple. Please finish crocheting them on your own. Then move on to round 7. Chain 1 to begin. Crochet 1 single crochet. Then work 1 SC2 tog. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first stitch. Then insert it into the front loop of the left stitch. There will be 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over again, and draw through in once. SC2 tog completed. This method of picking up the front loops only for decreases. It's called an invisible decrease. When you crochet using this technique, the gaps between stitches are smaller. The fabric turns out more delicate overall. Move on to make 1 single crochet. Then make it SC2 tog. Insert the hook through the front loops of the adjacent 2 stitches on the left side. Yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat twice. Once. Twice. SC2 tog completed. Continue downward following the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 SC2 tog. Complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The 7th round is now complete. Then cut some yarn tails. Stuff the fabric. You can use a crochet hook to help. After stuffing firmly, shape the curve of the fabric with your fingers. That's how you finish stuffing. The 8th round is continuous SC2 tog. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work SC2 tog in sequence. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That completes the final round. Then fasten off the yarn. Leave about 15 centimeters of the tail before cutting. Simply pull the yarn tail through and tighten it. The yarn is now fastened off. Thread the sewing needle with the yarn tail. Insert one end of the drawstring into the opening of the small ball. Then pick up the front loops of the last round of stitches on the small ball in sequence. Then pull tight in one motion. Next, insert the sewing needle into an adjacent position. Go through both drawstrings at the same time. Sew back and forth a few times. Pick up a nearby loop and tie a simple knot. Insert the sewing needle again from the center of the closing point. Stitch out at any position. Gently pull the thread. Press down to flatten the closing area. The excess tail should be hidden inside the fabric. Pass the sewing needle through a few more times. Trim the yarn. The closing is now complete. This way, the small ball is crocheted and attached to the end of the drawstring. Following this method, on each end of the drawstring, crochet and attach a small ball. The technique is fairly simple, so I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, sew D-rings onto both sides of the bag body. I'll demonstrate with this sample swatch. Locate where the drawstring ends enter and exit. Find the corresponding position on section 1 of the bag body. About 3 centimeters away from the edge of section 1. Install the D-ring here. Use the remaining cotton yarn from the bag body crocheting for sewing. Here, I'm choosing a random color matching. Cut a yarn tail about 60 centimeters long. Thread the sewing needle. Come out from the corresponding position on the inside of the bag body. Leave a section of yarn tail at the back. Sew from right to left. Then sew back again. After finishing, tie a double knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. Weave in the ends yourself. One D-ring is now sewn. For the other D-ring, secure it using the same method. Pay attention to the positioning of both D-rings. It must be symmetrical. I won't demonstrate this part here. Next, directly clip the strap onto the D-ring. That concludes the explanation of how to install the D-ring and strap. Next, we will sew on the leather label. The D-ring is attached to both sides of the bag body. Choose any side as the front side of the bag body. Sew the leather label on the bottom right of section 1 on the front side. The bottom edge of the leather label should be about 3.5 centimeters from the bag bottom. After confirming the position, use the remaining strands to sew through the D-ring. Insert the sewing needle from inside out into one hole of the leather label. Leave a section of thread at the back. Insert it through another hole. Then sew the 2 holes on the other side. After completing, tie the beginning and ending threads in a double knot. Weave in the ends by yourself. Cut off the excess parts. That's how the leather label is attached. Next, make the decorations. Let's start crocheting the daisy. Take a look at the finished product. It is divided into 2 parts, the flower core and the petals. Start with a magic ring. Crochet the flower core in a circle counterclockwise outward. After completing, switch colors to crochet the last round as the petals. Finally, shape it up. The new stitch used here is half double crochet. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. The crocheting method for the flower core is identical to the first 4 rounds of crocheting a small ball. The only difference is the number of increased stitches in the 3rd round. After completion, fasten off the yarn normally. I have already finished crocheting the sample swatch. Next, we will crochet the petals. Take the corresponding yarn tail, make a slip knot. Place the wrong side of the flower core facing yourself on the last round of the flower core. In the first single crochet stitch, join the yarn with the back loop of the stitch. Then work 10 chain stitches. Pick up the 2nd chain from the hook on the top strand and work 1 slip stitch into it. Continue by picking up the adjacent braid on the left side and work 1 single crochet into the top strand. Then, in the next braid, work 1 half double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the braid, draw the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and draw through once. 1 half double crochet is completed. On the adjacent chain on the left side, work another half double crochet, yarn over, insert, yarn over and draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, draw through all 3 loops on the hook. Another half double crochet is done. Continue with 1 stitch corresponding to 1 stitch. Crochet 3 half double crochets. After completing, on the remaining 2 chain braids, work 1 single crochet in each. Then, on the adjacent stitch to the left of the flower core, pick its back loop. Work 1 slip stitch. 1 petal is now completed. Let me demonstrate it again. Start with 10 chain stitches. Then, starting from the 2nd chain from the hook, work correspondingly, and make 1 slip stitch. 1 single crochet, 5 half double crochets. and 2 single crochets. Next, on the left side of the flower core, in the adjacent stitch, pick up the back loop and work 1 slip stitch. Another petal is completed. Continue downward following this method, crocheting the remaining petals. Complete this round. After finishing the last petal, join with a slip stitch at the joining position. Fasten off normally. Keep the side with the petal stitch pattern as the right side. This will be the front side of the flower. Hide all yarn tails on the wrong side by yourself. A daisy is now crocheted. Next, shape the petals. Tidy up the petals to make them flat. Apply alcohol glue on the back side. Be mindful not to apply too much. A thin layer is sufficient. Wait until the glue dries slightly. This way, the petals will stay in an unfolded state. Tidy up the adjacent petals to make them flat as well. Again, apply alcohol glue on the back side. Wait for the glue to dry slightly. Another petal is now set in shape. Continue following this method. Apply alcohol glue to the back of each petal. In this way, all petals of the daisy are shaped into an unfolded form. The shaping of this flower is now completed. Proceed by repeating this process. Crochet individual daisies. Refer to the paper instructions for exact quantities. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, crochet the leaves. Start with a chain stitch. Work back and forth. The new stitches used include the blow SC. Below, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. First, start with a chain stitch. Hang the yarn on your left hand. Hold the crochet hook in your right hand. Position it below the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the crossing point of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Place the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Slightly tighten it. Then crochet 7 chain stitches. The beginning chain is now complete. Next, work on the first row. Start with 1 chain stitch to begin. Begin from the second chain from the hook. Work single crochets through the top 1 strand of the chain spaces. Work all the way down the foundation chain. After completing, make 3 chain stitches as a transition. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain loop. Work single crochets downward in sequence. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail as you go. The stitch pattern on this side is symmetrical to the stitch pattern on the other side of the chain. Continue until you reach the second to last chain loop. If there's any leftover starting yarn tail, you can cut it off directly. That completes the first row. You can see that the texture on the right side of the fabric is clearer. The texture on the wrong side is blurry. Take this row of single crochets with the right side facing out and use it as the front side of the leaf. Now move on to the second row. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Skip the first stitch below. On the second stitch, work 1 blow SC. We'll call this the blow SC from now on. Pay attention that the wrong side stitches correspond to the V-shaped loops by the single crochet on the left side. Pick up the back loop of this stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Like this, pick the back loops of the stitches alternately. Crochet single crochets. This is called the blow SC. Continue correspondingly with the blow SC. Keep working until you reach the chain space from the previous row. We've now reached this position. Work 1 single crochet into the chain space. Chain 3 as a bridge. Work another single crochet in the same position. In this chain space, we will work 2 single crochets and 3 chains, treating them as one space pattern. Continue working the blow SC, matching each stitch with one below. Work until the second to last stitch. The second row is complete. Let's move on to the third row. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the piece over. Skip the first stitch below. Start from the adjacent stitch on the left. Work the blow SC, matching each stitch with one below. When you reach the chain space position, work 1 space pattern. Begin with 1 single crochet. Chain 3 as a bridge. Then work 1 single crochet. The space pattern is now complete. Continue picking up the remaining stitches below and work the blow SC. Keep going until you reach the last stitch. That completes the third row. The technique for the fourth row is identical to the third row. Make 1 chain to start. Turn the fabric. Work the blow SC in the corresponding stitch position. Work 1 space pattern in the chain space. Then continue with the blow SC, stop when you reach the second to last stitch. That completes the 4th row. Next, we'll work on the 5th row. Make 1 chain to start. Turn the fabric. Begin by working the blow SC on this side. Work 1 space pattern in the chain space. After completing it, work 2 more blow SC. Then work 6 chain stitches. The 5th row is now complete. Continue to the 6th row. Start with 1 chain. Let's take a look at the fabric. The right side of the chain looks like a braid. On the wrong side, there is a single line. It's called the back ridge. Begin from the second to last chain. Pick up the back ridge of the chains correspondingly. Work 6 single crochets. Then continue picking up stitches to work the blow SC. Work 1 space pattern into the chain space. Pick up the corresponding stitch and work 3 blow SC. Then work 4 chains. The 6th row is now complete. Move on to the 7th row. Start with 1 chain. Begin from the second to last chain braid. Pick up the back ridge. Work 4 single crochets in sequence. After completing, continue picking up the corresponding stitches for the blow SC. Work the space pattern at the hole position. Then work the blow SC on the corresponding stitches. Continue until the second to last stitch. That completes the 7th row. Below, I'll use a swatch to teach you how to count rows. Make sure the right side of the leaf is facing you. The odd-numbered rows are the texture of the single crochets on the front. It's a series of V-shapes. The even-numbered rows are the textures on the wrong side. There is a strand of yarn across the top. Make sure the right side of the fabric piece is facing you. Count the rows alternately from inside out, switching between the front and back sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. This is how you count rows when crocheting back and forth. The crocheting method for the remaining rows is the same as before. At the end of each row where the below SC concludes, refer to the pattern. Everyone, follow the chart to crochet the remaining part. On the last row, keep crocheting until you reach the chain space. That means completing one side of the fabric piece. Finally, make one single crochet in the chain space, and finish with one slip stitch. Leave a 10 cm yarn tail for sewing. The method is pretty simple, so I won't demonstrate it. That's how you finish one leaf. Continue in the same way. Crochet the rest of the leaves. For the exact amount, please refer to the paper instructions. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, sew the daisies and leaves. Attach them to the corresponding positions on the bag body. Now, let's take a look at the finished product. Sew 4 daisies and 6 leaves onto the front and back sides of the bag body. On the same side, attach the daisies above section 1. And at the corresponding positions in the first 7 rounds of section 2, adjacent daisies are staggered vertically. The base of each leaf should face the daisies. Sew them around the daisies. The exact positions are not fixed. Arrange them according to your preference. Place them as embellishments between the daisies. You can secure the sewing position of the daisies first, then sew on the leaves. Finally, fasten the daisies securely. I'll demonstrate the sewing method using this small sample. The specific sewing positions are not for reference. Cut a segment of the remaining strands from crocheting the leaves. Thread it into the sewing needle. Here, the contrasting color is random. Above the corresponding position of the daisies flower core, pick a point and insert into the fabric piece. Then, correspondingly, pick up the last round of stitches for the daisy flower core. On the wrong side with a few strands of yarn, sew them together. Sew a few more times at this position to secure it. Mind that the sewing thread doesn't go through to the front side. Then tie the beginning and ending ends with a double knot. Hide the yarn tails on your own. This way, a daisy is secured in the corresponding position. Follow this method to attach the remaining daisies in their respective positions. The technique is relatively simple, so I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, according to the fixed positions of the daisies, sew on the leaves. Thread the reserved tail into the sewing needle. Insert it into the corresponding position on the bag body. Pay attention. Make sure the right side of the leaf is facing up. Then select a few points to sew and secure it. After sewing securely, tie a double knot. Weave in the ends. One leaf is now attached. Continue with this method. To sew the remaining leaves, I will not repeat the demonstration. After all the leaves are sewn on, next, securely sew on the daisies. Similarly, use the remaining yarn tails from crocheting the leaves on the wrong side of the daisy's flower core. Choose a few points and sew securely. If the leaf is perfectly positioned below the daisy, on the corresponding position of the leaf, select a point to secure as well. The exact number of fixed points on the daisy is not set in stone, just make sure it's secured firmly. Everyone can follow the same method accordingly. Just secure the remaining daisies. Up to this point, the crocheting method for this flower basket bag has been fully explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next episode.